Welcome to Sipping Reality X with Jill and
Meaghan.
Hi, Meaghan.
You're so cute.
Meaghan's in a mood today.
Yeah, I am.
In a funky mood, not a sexy one.
No.
And I just want
to get out of it.
I just want to slap her face.
She said, "Can I slap you?" And
Have
I thought about it.
What did you think about it?
Maybe you should.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I like to slap and to be slapped.
I know you do.
Did we share that on here
I
yet?
think we've shared it a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
About my slapping
Yeah.
kink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
really
we talked about.
I enjoy sexually slapping and non-sexually slapping.
Yeah, you do.
I think I
You
enjoy.
can slap me. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh
No, do it again.
oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hot.
That was a good one.
Slapping is hot.
Yeah.
There's something so sexy about that.
I'm sure they all heard that. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was right next to the microphone. Yep, it was perfect.
Well,
I love it. I love the sound. I love the feel. I love the look on their face.
when they
and
get smacked.
yes, I love everything about it.
Do you want me to smack you?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, was that a good one?
Here, let me take my I'm gonna take my glasses off.
Oh!
That was good. It's all nice and stingy. I love that.
That sounded really good.
Yeah, it did.
That was a perfect clap right there.
It sounds good. It feels good.
Yeah.
I like everything about it.
I do too.
I never knew this until recently.
You want to tell them what we're doing right now?
We are steaming our vaginas
With herbs.
with herbs
Yeah.
and frankincense essential oil.
Oh, yeah.
So we have one essential oil
Yeah. Yeah, it feels really nice.
and herbs.
She has more of a raging steamer right now.
A raging steamer. That would be a raging boner.
I'd like
appreciate one of those.
I'd like
too.
a raging boner, but yeah, no,
From someone else.
she's got the raging steamer. Mine's just like me.
Well, we did it 2 days ago, and I got the one that was meh. And
So
she
I
got
gave-
the steamer. So
I gave her the raging steamer.
she gave me
today.
the raging one. So we're just gonna have to do an extra steam
Yeah,
so that we make up for it.
yeah.
We're gonna have to make sure we get 3 raging ones.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, it's so much better. She's really upset that she doesn't have the raging one right now.
I'm not upset.
She loves me enough to let me have it.
I'm happy that she's having. That gives me just as much joy. It does.
You would have more joy if you were getting ragingly steamed right now.
No, I would have more joy if I was taking a raging boner right now.
Yeah, you would. Meaghan is very horny right now.
I have been.
She
yeah.
can't stop thinking about it, I
No.
don't think.
Well, it doesn't help that I'm drinking Damiana.
Oh,
Tea.
yes. So talk about that.
Yeah. I was told by my holistic practitioner to try Damiana tea, and it is an aphrodisiac, but I don't think that's the reason why I'm
No.
so horny, but it does make me feel
I thought you were going to say that's the reason why she told you to take it.
No,
I was gonna be
she
like,
told me-
no.
No, she told me to take it for self-love.
Yes.
Um,
You're supposed to turn that sexual euphoria that you're gaining from it onto
towards
yourself.
myself, which I think I have been.
Have you?
I think so.
You look great today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like you're
No, I feel
looking better.
I feel really good.
yeah.
I'm sad. I have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff on my mind, but I feel good. So about the Damiana tea, I think that it makes me feel relaxed, and also, there is a little bit of a feeling. Like, I don't know how to describe that in words. I don't know.
A little bit of a I'd love to have a raging boner shoved into me right now.
Yeah.
Is that the
It doesn't help
feeling?
that I haven't had sex in 2 weeks, which is like a year for me.
That is like a year for you.
I'm always like, I haven't had sex in forever, and Jill's like, you had sex last week.
No, she has said before, I haven't had sex in a month. And her other friend was there. We were in a parking lot. Her other friend was there. I said, Meaghan, you had sex 2 days ago. She goes, oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. And then her other friend was like, and you had sex last weekend. And she's like, yes, I did. And we're like, yes, and 2 weeks ago. I'm like, that's not a month, Megan. That's not a month. I'm like, I haven't had sex in 2 months, and you're complaining that you haven't had sex in a month, but you've actually had sex 2 days ago, a week ago, and 2 weeks ago.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
She does not need Damianity, but for that, anyways.
No, I don't. It's already there.
Maybe it would be a good idea for people who have a little
issues with
anxiety around sexual experiences.
Yeah, to give them a little bit of a feeling.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
You did it different.
Oh.
I know. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know how it went.
We have to listen back to ourselves.
Yeah. No, I mean, it could be very helpful for people who have a lower libido. It does have a very relaxing effect to it, too.
And it's nice and healthy and all about self-love, so why not?
It has a lot of health benefits.
Yeah.
Like mental clarity, cleansing benefits. It's just a really lovely herb.
Well, that's part of our sexual journeys, I think, is that we have been taught so much in this world that women have sex due to lack of self-love. And I don't think that's true. Like, oh, if you have sex with men too quickly, it's because you're just trying to win them over by sex because you don't feel good enough about yourself.
No, I was horny.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's such a lie. Like, women, I just did a writing on this. Women are just as horny as men.
Right.
I just saw 2 posts on Facebook just last night where women were complaining that their boyfriends didn't want to have sex enough. Their boyfriends only wanted it once a week, or 2 or 3 times a week was too much for them, or they were struggling to keep up with how much sex their woman wanted.
Yep.
It's not this thing where men are horny and women aren't, and we only have sex to get men. Like, no, we want sex. We are horny. We enjoy that, and we're no less than or more than a man for going out and having sex.
Now, individuals, whether they're male or female, their libidos are on a scale.
Yes, of course.
But yeah.
There are some women that don't care about sex, and there's some
if we're
men that
talking
don't.
about just strict standardizing that females enjoy sex less than or are less horny than men, it's ridiculous.
Yes, I just did a writing in Living Journal X called Sex Drive about women and women wanting and enjoying sex just as much as men. That all stemmed from this man asking me how women are able to just shut it off. He was saying that when a man gets horny, a man has to actually make either have sex with a woman or make himself come. He needs to come in order for that desire to dissipate enough to move on with like his day or his life, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, how do women not have that same thing? How do women just shut it off? And I said, what do you mean? Women are no different? I'm like, if I get super horny, that doesn't go away. It increases until I
release,
have some kind of release.
Yes.
And yes, some women can shut it off, and we as men and women, sometimes you can't have that release because of your situation, and at some point you're able to get over it and move on. You are, but there's no difference between the male and female in that regard. I do not believe.
No, I don't either. I have a really high libido, so I'm a fine example of that.
Yes.
You know, I was shamed for all of it, my whole life. I mean, I'm not the only woman that has been shamed for having a high sex drive. That's pretty much standard, I think, in our society.
And just because a woman wants sex doesn't mean she's doing it out of insecurity. Sometimes now, being a 45-year-old woman, divorcing, knowing who I am today, I'm like, darn, I want it. It has nothing to do with the man and if he cares about me or if he loves me or if he's going to stay with me. I don't care. Like, if I'm...
Yeah, I can do that just like a man can.
Yes.
Like, I don't know you, but we're going to meet and you're going to bend me over and then we're going to say bye. That's it.
Like, see you later.
Bye. Like, yeah, I'm just like a man in that regard. I think that a lot of women would be like that if they didn't feel so shameful about it.
Well, and I think because of how society's laid out and because when we're young, a lot of men do use women's insecurity, girls, because we're just girls at the time, a lot of boys or men use girls' insecurity against them to have sex and then shame them for it. Like in high school, I had sex with a guy and then he's like, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm like, yeah, this is between me and you. And then he went and told the whole school, and I had to go to school the next day, shamed for that. And
he was the man, though.
Yes.
He was the man.
Yes, he was. And I was shamed, embarrassed, couldn't face people. It was awful. And that does create an insecurity.
I've seen other scenarios where pictures have been sent out, and then they send them to everyone, and the woman's shamed, but the man, still, the boy is fine.
Yes.
But she's the slut of the school.
Yeah, and it really messes with our whole society's view of sex and women's relationship with sex.
And it's crazy, because if there had been more of a focus when I was an adolescent on just the safety of it all and boundaries and consent, things would have been so much different for me growing up. I still had sex, but I would have experienced more healthy
sexual experiences. Yes, there'd be less STDs getting spread around. There'd be less unplanned pregnancies. There would be less of all of that. I think understanding and embracing that as human beings, just as animals, I don't believe we are animals, but just as animals, we're a type of being. We desire sex. We were made to desire sex, to procreate. It's in us.
I mean, our organs were made to orgasm.
They were made to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We were made to have it. We were made to desire it. We were made to actually compulsively desire it to the point of procreating, so that
species wouldn't die.
Species would continue on. So for us to desire sex shouldn't be shameful. It's literally part of being human.
I mean,
there's the point that we bring up all the time of teaching and educating from a young age of how to do that safely and responsibly.
Because they're still going to. And I always...
Not just physically safely, but emotionally and mentally and spiritually safely also.
Right. You know, it's funny. A few years ago, I would have been like, yeah, you tell kids not to have sex. You don't say, well, they're going to do it anyways. I took that stance for a little while. Now I'm like, no, they are going to do it anyways.
Yes.
I was there. I did it.
And yet the choice used to be, or still is maybe, I don't know, is, okay, give them a handful of condoms or tell them not to do it. And I don't think either is the answer. The answer is from a very young age, from before the age when they're ready to do it, you start openly talking to them about sex and their bodies and their own security and their own emotional well-being around sex and relationships.
Right. I mean,
and as they move into the age when they become ready to have sex, they're fully open to discuss that with you, and you can talk about all those things with them.
And it starts with very age appropriate things as they grow up. When they're babies, yes, that's a penis. Yes, that's a vagina. And as they get older, sometimes they touch it and they play it. I mean, play with my girls, like, try to stick toys in their vagina. Like, I have to talk to them about their vagina.
Yes.
You know, I have to say, well, you have to be careful. We don't put that in there. You're going to hurt yourself because we have, whatever. So and then boys start to play with their penis at a certain age. Like,
they always play with their penis from the day they're born. And come on now.
And so
I have 5 boys.
Right.
They play with their penis when they're 1 month old, and when they're 6 months old, and when they're 2
and so eventually
and 5.
I have to tell them that if they play with it, they're gonna ejaculate. That happens. I've
taught my son came to me that that's going to happen.
And
there's going to be stuff that comes out of your penis.
Yeah, my son came to me, and I hadn't discussed that with him, and he said, "Oh, I had, this white stuff come out. What is that?" And I had to have that discussion with him. I could have already had that discussion with him, so when it happened, he already knew. So there are certain stages as they're growing up, and my daughter said something was in her brain about I don't know, putting something on her vagina, and out, I can't shame her. I have to be very careful not to be oh, don't do that. I don't need her to feel shameful about her own body parts. And at some point, my daughter, we went to a water park, and she ended up like going around and like getting near a jet. And she told me it like hit.
Your little one?
No, my
Your
oldest.
older one?
Yeah.
Oh.
She said it hit her.
Yeah.
And it made her feel a certain way. And like I had, like what? I'm not.
But that's good she was open to say that to you, because I wouldn't have felt, if that happened to me, I wouldn't have felt like I could talk to my mom about that.
I absolutely would not. I would have felt so much shame to talk to my mom.
Yeah, and then
about
you
that.
wouldn't talk about it, and then you won't have sexual health.
And who would have I asked? Maybe somebody who would have been super inappropriate with me.
That's true too.
And it opens the door for me talking to someone who's going to take advantage of me for asking them. So yeah, I'm happy that my daughter felt comfortable enough to come and be like, this made me feel weird.
Yeah, that's good.
And it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I had to navigate that in a way where she didn't feel shame for it, because that's how our body parts are made. They are made to feel pleasure. And when they're stimulated, it doesn't matter what age you are, they're going to be stimulated.
Yeah. It's not like all of a sudden at 16 or 18 or 19
now
or
you get
12
pleasure from
even,
stimulation.
now all of a sudden those nerve endings grow and are there.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
which is very confusing for young children, especially since we find it inappropriate to talk to young children about sex. And I dare say it's not inappropriate. It actually is appropriate. Yeah. And we should be talking to them.
And we've had to talk to our kids about incest. It's I mean, I've been online in chat rooms for freaking 20 years. I've heard it all. I've had to talk to my kids about not touching each other growing up, and that's incest and it's not appropriate. You do that with a partner when you're older who's not family. Like, I've had to have these discussions with my children because I have heard some crazy stinking stories.
Well, you don't have to have that discussion, but you chose to have that discussion because you wanted to protect your children so that they didn't
have
engage
urges.
in that.
I told them, you're going to have urges and thoughts and feelings, but you can't act that out with your sibling. It's incestual. It will harm both of you. It's not good. And I had to talk to them about that. And I think that was super important. I think it's super important to say that to children, because that has happened. It does happen. And then the children feel so shameful for it. They grow up feeling super ashamed, even more so because it was with a sibling. I mean, all of this shaming starts from such a young age. I mean, even just from somebody being really uncomfortable when if their kid comes to them with something, it's easy to be like, don't do that. Right? Like, I don't want to hear it. You're my kid.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm just so open about those things, and it doesn't bother me. I don't feel embarrassed to talk to my children about sex.
Yeah.
I go to them, they get embarrassed, and I'm like, no, don't be embarrassed. We're talking about this. This is important. I don't know why I don't feel that.
I mean, I had it.
But I don't.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
But some people do, and that's okay that you do feel embarrassed about talking to your kids about it. But I think it'll be healing. It's healing in and of itself, too.
I think maybe because we see the benefit of it, it's like, no, this is a natural part of life, and that's what we're trying to portray to our children. Because that's what we feel now. I think that's why we don't feel embarrassed to talk to our kids about it, because it's like, this is the natural part of your body. I do the same thing online, on Facebook. So there was a post, and this person did a post shaming their partner because their partner asked for something kinky, and then in all the comments there were a bunch of people saying, oh, well, I like that. There were a bunch of people saying that, but there were more people being like, oh, that's stranger, oh, I'd walk away, oh, I'd never talk to him again. I said, and the issue wasn't the kink that the partner was into. The issue was how the person expressed and desired that kink that was not being, what's the right way to say it, like a safe partner. They weren't doing it in a... Consensually?
I don't think it was a consent issue. It was just more of like a disrespectful way. They were trying to get it in a disrespectful way.
Manipulative?
And so disrespectful, I think is the right word. But yes, it could be any of the above, right?
Yeah.
So I brought up the point, and I said the issue is not the kink. There's nothing wrong with that man having that kink and desire. If you don't desire the same, then don't do it. If you do, or you're willing just for him, then do it. The problem is that he's being disrespectful about it. And I explained however it was explained in the post. And I think that's a big, important differentiation for us to have, is that there's nothing wrong with kinks, but there's definitely wrong ways to approach. And it's so easy for anyone that doesn't understand kinks or non-vanilla sex, for them to latch on to the disrespect or the manipulation or the non-consent and wrap it all into one as if the kink is the problem.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with having a kink. There's nothing wrong with loving sex and enjoying it. There is something wrong with being disrespectful.
Or trying to force your kink on someone.
Non-consensual about it. Or,
you have
whatever.
You have to respect that other people aren't into it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's a person-to-person issue. That's because that man is disrespectful, right? That person is disrespectful. I feel like I'm just wanting to be an advocate everywhere that I see, whether it's with children or it's just a Facebook post or...
Yeah, we have been steaming our vaginas for like an hour.
An hour instead of 45 minutes.
Yeah, and you have like, look at that steam. I kind of want to sit on that for a while.
Maybe you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we switch spots?
Do it now. Yeah, so I don't even really know what we were here to discuss today.
What did we start talking about?
How can we conclude this? We started talking about our vagina steaming.
Yep.
And then we really got into just non-shaming of women's sex drive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how women's sex drive is the same as men. And somehow that, you were all wrapped up in that. That turned into us talking about children. So...
Well, because that's where it starts, the shaming, right?
That is where it starts. That's why there's this...
Or the lack of discussion.
That's why there's this lack of understanding in our world and society.
That's a steamer right there.
Yes.
That's a raging steamer.
Of our society. What was I saying now? You totally lost me. I was concluding the whole thing.
I'm so sorry.
And you completely got turned on by the steam.
I love you. I hate it.
She's so horny. She can't even let me talk.
A raging steamer.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, go ahead.
She really needs to go out on this date today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe.
It's gone. The whole conclusion.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that happens.
I did that.
Yep.
Well,
that happens. Sometimes sex in the brain can do that to you. But see, that proves our point right there. Here's a woman that is so horny and so focused on sex that she can't even make it through a podcast.
Right.
Without interrupting and getting excited about her vagina. There's the conclusion of our podcast today.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that a woman's sex drive is the same as a man's sex drive. That whatever society has told us is not reality.
We need to be unapologetic and unashamed.
Unapologetic, unashamed of your kinks, of your desires. Just be healthy about it.
And respectful.
Emotionally. Yeah, don't manipulate. Don't degrade unless they like it.
Or you'll get slaps.
Ooh.
You might like it.
Oh, can I just find a slapping buddy?
I could just slap you.
No, I might get too horny and then I don't have a date today.
That's true.
I wouldn't like that.
Okay.
I really love slapping.
I could be your slapping buddy. We could just make sure we have something lined up for you.
Oh my gosh. No, I'll just let him slap me.
Okay, that's fine.
The guy I'm dating likes to slap me.
I know.
Yeah, he was into it.
I know.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I could be like edging.
No.
Like just slapping you until you get...
No.
Okay.
Well, if you're really enjoying listening to us, please don't forget to share us with others that you know in the community.
Yes, please. Share, like, subscribe. We love you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.